So today I'm going to rank the best spots this season, focusing especially on how much earnings each spot has generated, why, and ending with the best spot of the season. The first spot we're going to talk about is Mast Meadows. A decent spot, but it has some problems. The main problem is that there are too many rotation paths around it. When the zone closes on you, a lot of players are nearby. When you rotate, many others are rotating too. It's a tricky spot. There isn't much natural cover to protect yourself, and rotating without taking damage is hard, especially this season, since there are no rotation items. This spot really depends on rotation timing. If you rotate early, you probably won't see anyone. But if you rotate late, you'll run into everyone. Still, that doesn't mean you can't make money from this spot in tournaments like the Evaluation Cup, just like Polo's trio did. So, taking all these things into account, I've decided to place this spot in the Tier B. Another similar spot is Foxy Floodgate, a central location that should be relatively easy, but there's a problem. There's usually no one around, and not many rotation paths nearby. That might sound like a good thing, but it actually makes it harder to get your Storm Surge tags. Most of the time, you rely on the Surge Tower, but even if you and your teammate are split between different Surge Towers, you can still get pushed while alone. And the issue is, in finals, not so many players rotates in a straight line. Some go left, some go right, some climb the mountain, or just stay in zone. So it's a complicated spot too, because you depend a lot on whether the match has high surge or not. Some games are fine, others are rough. So just like the previous spot, I've decided to place this one in Tier B as well. Now let's take a look at two of the lowest rated spots on this list. They're not the absolute worst this season, but they've been some of the least profitable. Still, they've made some money, and that's why they're included. Those spots are Pumped Power and Outpost Enclave. They're big spots with plenty of loot, but in finals, the main issue is that you don't have many options. Back in the day, you could rotate for free by going up the hill. Now, there's usually a trio waiting there to farm surge on you. And if you try to use the standard bridge rotation, you can get stuck in a sandwich with pressure coming from the mountains and also from the boxcars area. Still, if you play it like Cringe's trio and get surge by trading, you might be able to make it through mid-game. The same thing happens with Outpost Enclave. You pretty much have to take surge trades, and it doesn't really have a clear win condition. So with a good strategy, solid timing, and strong aim, you can make it to the late game, but unfortunately not many players using this spot have found good results in finals. But to be fair, Boltz has been dominating from this spot and getting good results with a solid strategy. So taking that into account, I've decided to place this spot in Tier B like the others, and the other one goes into the lowest tier on this list, Tier C. Next up, we have two of the smallest spots this season, Martial Maneuvers and Pump and Pipes. And of course, when we talk about these spots, most people think of Vert and Pink. And yes, they're the best when it comes to playing them. But Martial Maneuvers has a big problem. There's no clear strategy. There's no real way to take safe surge trades, and while the rotations seem easy at first, you often end up running into too many players and burning through your heals. There are also a lot of sneaky plays that can ruin your game. Out of all the spots on this list, this is the most difficult one because everything works against you, and it hasn't generated much profit either, making it the worst spot on the list. Now, talking about the other spot, it's not that bad. It doesn't have a strong win condition, but thanks to some small mountains that give you cover, you can move more freely, which helps a lot with rotations and gives you more options to play for surge. That said, be careful, people will try to get surge on you, especially around the gas station. You need good awareness, understand enemy timings and your own. The team from first order base might push you if you are slow. You can even try to build a surge tower, but make sure you're doing it smart. Don't try to set this trade surge in the middle of nowhere for no reason. That's not going to help. One of the real downsides of this spot is reaching the late game. And what do I mean by that? From this location, it's really hard to make it to late unless you have a solid strat, and your team makes good decisions while rotating. That's why I've placed this spot in Tier B. Now let's jump into some of the most solid spots this season. Spots with strong strats that can actually help you win a tournament. One of them is Seaport City, one of the best spots from last season, and still a strong pick now. You can do a lot here, from taking surge trades on the south side of the spot to farming surge near the port. You can also set up a surge tower in different positions. It's a central location, so rotating is pretty easy, and if you want, you can even push other trios. There are also heal-off strats you can use in zone to get better rotations, so you've got a lot of ways to play this location. It's definitely a strong spot. The only reason it's not in Tier S is because there are simply better options this season with better win conditions. Now we have Vader's Samurai Solitude, a spot that might be a surprise to some players, and not so much to others. We already talked about it earlier this season. This spot has a clear win condition, and that's the lightsaber. Darth Vader drops here, and no, it's not a joke. That lightsaber shreds players if your trio has good coordination. You can get surge from nearby areas during rotation, or even by using the saber to start a fight. But the key part of this spot is the late game. That's when you really start to take advantage of the win condition. As we can see, there are mainly two big reasons why the lightsaber stands out compared to other items. First, you can instantly destroy any enemy structure, which means you can rotate however you want. And second, and even more important, the lightsaber can be thrown forward and go through builds, letting you break into enemy boxes or pressure players with ease. As we've seen, players keep using the lightsaber every time they get the chance. That's why, just by having this item, it was actually worth landing at this spot. This spot goes in Tier A along with the other one. Let's talk about Brutal Boxcars, a spot that doesn't just include the boxcars route, but also the surrounding mountains and nearby areas. This is super important because it gives the spot many advantages and big potential. You can get surge from different places. Since you're in the center, you can spend more time getting surge safely. You might get a lightsaber, you can use the train, you can play Edge Zone, or even rotate into Zone using the train. If you have enough gold, you can visit the NPC to buy Forecast. You can even build a Surge Tower right there, blocking other trios from doing the same. So there are lots of options here, and as we'll see with some of these spots, the more options you have, the better, because you'll never be at a clear disadvantage. You can do a lot of things here. It's a strong spot. You won't always get it free, but if you manage to build a solid strat, win the landing, and stay aware of everything, you can definitely get a lot of value from it. Because of all these advantages, I've placed it in Tier S. Now, let's talk about the spot right next to it, Magic Moses. This could have easily been a solid Tier A or even Tier B spot, but this season, it's made its way into Tier S. Why? Because it has the strongest win condition of the season, the Surge NPC. It's not the first time you've heard about it. If you follow my channel, you already know what I'm talking about. We've seen multiple games where Nefrizi, Wheat, and Alusha use this NPC to win games and even tournaments. But remember, you need to leave behind the gold that appears so one of your teammates can collect it all after looting. That's the only way you'll be able to reach the 200 gold required. Compared to other spots, the main advantage here is that it's easier to get the gold you need to buy Forecast. On top of that, rotating to center zone is also a lot easier. You can rotate through the mountains that give you cover and avoid taking much damage. And now, one of the most solid spots this season has been without a doubt, First Order Base. Not because of the medal the NPC gives you, which you should leave behind so enemies can't track you, but because of everything you can actually do here. You have full freedom of movement. You can rotate left and take a fight against a trio, go through the center and play it safe, or even head right to look for a push, since you'll usually have no one nearby. It's a spot with all the freedom you could ask for. On top of that, rotating from here isn't hard. You're usually one of the last to move, which becomes an advantage since you can scout and plan a much better rotation. And to top it all off, the mythic weapon you can get here makes a huge difference in the late game. For all these reasons, this spot definitely deserves its place in Tier S. Right now, the best spot this season without a doubt is Flooded Frogs. It's a spot that covers everything. Win conditions, all kinds of possibilities, and it's easily the strongest location overall. It doesn't just offer surge trading, there's also an NPC that gives you the purple lightsaber. You get free rotations to both the left and right, great loot, and you can look for surge by pushing nearby fights. On top of that, there are plenty of heals to rotate safely into zone. And if you have enough gold, you can also get Forecast, which gives you even more control. So with all these advantages, if a trio knows how to play this spot properly and take advantage of everything it offers, they can get a massive edge. Got another opinion? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks for watching.
I will never let you down. Why don't you stay with The sun